Hello, welcome to another awesome edition of our live F5. My name is Stanley Philippe. I'm a recruitment officer, page liaison, and host of the Talking Raven podcast. Super happy to be here. There's no other place I'd rather be on a Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern than right here chatting with all of you about different elements at Carleton U. And today we're having a conversation about student support and the Paul Menton Center. So a really valuable conversation for us to have, a part of the university experience. It doesn't always get the same type of spotlight or shine at this time of the year, but I promise you it's going to be a really important component to your Carleton experience. And so very happy to have this, again, convo with all of you. And to begin, we always like to start at Carleton with an acknowledgement. So Carleton University acknowledges the location of its campus on the traditional unceded territories of the Algonquin Nation. And I've been thinking a lot about the word acknowledgement. I feel like for us, that word can allow us to act. You know, when we acknowledge something, it leads you to action. And I think it's something that we're going to continue to do through initiatives like our Kinamagwin, which is our Indigenous Initiative Strategy that we started last year. And really looking at different ways of making our campus as inclusive, as accessible, and as reflective of the grounds in which we are located. And so very happy to be able to start with that acknowledgement. I also want to remind you that there are so many different ways for you to connect with us. Our guided virtual campus tours are legendary at this point. They're very well known. So you can definitely go and book a tour, see our campus from the comfort of your own home. You are also able to book it on an in-person tour. So if you want to come on campus and see our buildings and get a feel for our location, we definitely do provide you with that opportunity. Please go on to your Carleton 360 account to register for your in-person or your virtual guided campus tour. I mentioned I'm the host of the Talking Raven podcast. This has been a new initiative that we started last year. It's a great way for you to learn more about the Carleton experience from a different lens and literally hear what we have in store for you. It's been a great couple of weeks posting different topics and different folks from our community. So I encourage you to listen in. You can find our podcast wherever you find your favorite podcast. And so hopefully you will do that. And then we have our future Raven Coffee breaks. If you ever wanted to have a one-on-one conversation with myself or my awesome teammates like Jacob or Gio or Tatiana, Caitlin, Carly. I mean, we're all here to help you really reach your goals for post-secondary. And that coffee break is not only a great time for you to get into a more detailed conversation. You can also tell us what your favorite caffeinated beverage is. You know, if you're a big fan of a latte, or if you're an old school kind of double type of person. I don't know coffee terms too well because I don't drink coffee, but we can talk about that as well. So definitely encourage you to, again, book a coffee break. All right, so today's convo is really all about the student support that's available at Carleton University. And we have, and I'm trying to say this humbly, but we have a huge network of support services. And as a matter of fact, we have an event happening this Saturday, November 6th, which is our virtual fall open house, where a lot of these departments that we're going to be talking about are going to be on full display. And so the support element at Carleton is essential to our job. Our responsibility when you are deciding to attend university and deciding to attend our university, how we can really help elevate your experience and ensure that that experience goes as smoothly as possible is important work that we try to do every single day. So I'm going to quickly touch on a couple of different areas that you'll want to keep in mind. And then we're going to bring in our featured guests to talk a bit more about the Paul Menton Center. So first off, the Student Experience Office. This is a place that facilitates student-centered learning that will enhance your university experience by offering transition support, different leadership opportunities, and various experiential learning programs. And there's a really long list. So I'm just going to, again, touch on a couple of these. So first, our summer and fall orientation programs. Fall O for me was like the biggest thing coming from Toronto and moving to a new city, a new campus, a new learning experience. having that orientation program to understand what my department was all about, to meet students that are in upper years that can guide me, and to really feel comfortable in my new environment was huge. So I definitely encourage you to participate in that. We have various mentorship programs that's available. So if you want to be matched up with a mentor to really going to help guide your transition from high school to university, this can be done through the SEO. This past month, we hosted our very first Pride Festival here at Carleton University, and the Student Experience Office was part of the kind of organizing that amazing festival that was long overdue, but definitely a really great celebration of our LGBTQ plus community here at Carleton. And then we have events like the Alternative Spring Break Program, where you get a chance to go into a different community during your winter break and to learn more about what it means to use the skills that you're acquiring in university and apply them in real settings. I remember a few years back, I went with a group of students to Vancouver, and we spent the week working in the downtown east side, which per capita is one of the poorest neighborhoods in Canada, and understanding the different stories and realities and ways that our various programs connect to what's happening in those various communities was really impactful. And so that type of community service learning is, again, a big part of the SEO. So get to know SEO. It's going to be a really great part of your university experience. Now, the Center for Student Academic Support, they design, develop, and implement evidence-informed educational programs and services that will be available to support all of our students and to really help them have a successful academic experience. There are kind of three big components I like to touch on. Writing services, very self-explanatory, helping with your writing skills. I can still use the help today, and I've been away from university for a couple of years, but it's awesome to know that as you're working on your various assignments, doing your research, writing papers at the university level, that there is a team of folks that can help you kind of hone your skills. And I always think about sports when I think about writing services, because someone like Connor McDavid or LeBron James or any of your favorite athletes, they still have coaches, to help hone the skills that they are kind of paid and known for. And so even for the best writers out there, having that additional kind of check-in and support and opportunity to work on your penmanship, so to speak, is really essential. So that's big. Our learning support sessions, phenomenal virtual sessions, at least virtual during the pandemic, where you get a chance to learn more about procrastination, like why do we wait till the last second to do things, and how can we avoid doing that? Is just one of the many different learning support sessions that are available. So you can utilize that to understand and then to maybe correct some of the things that we do. And then our peer-assisted study sessions, or PASS for short. This is something that students at Carleton are very familiar with, very excited about when they have an opportunity in their first year to sign up for a PASS session. These are kind of info sessions run by students for students. So you'll have current students who've taken the class that you're registered in that will take the class alongside with you. And then every week we'll offer an opportunity for you to discuss the material, to really kind of go over it and ensure you're capturing what you need to capture from an information perspective, from a critical thinking perspective, and so on. So we identify some of the classes that are either larger, more popular, classes that we really do want to make sure students get that additional support available to them. And again, that peer-to-peer learning is really a great way for us to learn. So again, tap into the Center for Student Academic Support. They are really here to support your academics. It's in the title for a reason. All right, health and counseling services. We do offer things like medical services, a dentist's office, or dental services, and so on. And within our health and counseling, when you pay your tuition fees, you're paying into to our health plan, and so you do have access to all those facilities. And one of the things that has been highlighted, of course, over the last few years, is our understanding of mental health and how we all, need support, and it's at various levels, at various times through our lives, and the student experience is no different. And I gotta tell you, for me, what I was really proud of during this pandemic is that we recognize the different support services that were needed, and we continue to offer them within this virtual space. So our 24/7 mental health support resources became available through our virtual platforms or virtual spaces. And so to be able to have that support whenever needed, I think is really a reflection of Carleton understanding that, we need to put our students first at all times. So, please tap into those support services whenever you need them. Speaking of tapping in, let's tap into our kind of featured, guests and our featured conversation for this evening. And we're talking the Paul Menton Center for Students with Disabilities. And I'd like to bring to the screen our first guest, Amanda Blais, who is the Disabilities Coordinator and Learning Specialist in the Paul Menton Center. And Amanda is going to give you a really great kind of understanding of what the Paul Menton Center is and how you can utilize those support services to reach your full potential. So Amanda, I think I talked too much, so I'm going to stop talking and let you take over.
Hi, Stanley. Thank you for having PMC featured in the Live at 5. We're always so happy to be here. And yeah, I'm really excited to talk about the Paul Menton Center for Students with Disabilities here on campus, or as we lovingly refer to it as the PMC. So the PMC is the designated location on campus where students can come to our office to request academic accommodations and services if they have a documented disability. So for those of you who have IEPs in high school and have academic accommodations, we would be the office you would come to when you have your acceptance at Carleton, so that we can get you off on the right foot and really help you navigate that transition into post-secondary. And so again, like I said, we provide academic accommodations and services. So we provide classroom accommodations. So that can be anything from voice recording lectures or note-taking service, access to note-taking services, to test accommodations like extra time or a quiet location to do your test. So we're providing accommodations both for online learning and in-person learning. So that is something to be aware of as well. And we have over 3,500 students registered with the center. So we make up about 10% of the overall Carleton population of students registered with the center. So that's something that a lot of people don't often know about, but we like to share that stat because, again, more and more people are feeling more comfortable in coming to us, disclosing their disability with us, and registering with the center. So in addition to the tests and classroom accommodations, we also offer a bunch of student services. So one of those services is learning strategies support. So Stanley mentioned CSAS, which is offered to all students at Carleton. And our learning strategy support is more tailored towards students with disabilities and their individual learning needs. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, once you register with the center, you can talk to your coordinator about being paired with someone one-on-one that you can meet with monthly or weekly or however often you need to review skills like reading, writing, note-taking, study strategies, you name it, we work on it, and we try and build in some tech into that as well. And we also offer disability-specific counseling. So unlike the health and counseling services that Stanley was talking about, our counseling services are only offered for students at PMC. And again, you can request a referral through your coordinator once you register with the center. So those are a few of the additional services that we offer. And with the switch to online learning, we also started a few new programs last year. So we have a study pod session that we offer for students to meet daily with other peers, very similar to like going to the coffee shops or to the library. You can work online virtually with somebody else on your own individual tasks, but it really helps keep you focused. We also started an ADHD group this year, as well as a Friday socials to help people get connected. So unlike everything that Stanley has mentioned that exists already at Carleton, we try to foster that same community within PMC to get people used to kind of what the campus might look like and, again, help you get connected to those resources that Stanley mentioned. Okay.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Amanda. Yeah,
you go.
I was going to say that's a really great kind of intro to PMC, and I think it's something that again, like students are becoming much more aware of earlier in the stage, but they don't always kind of connect to it. And I think that it's also fun when we get to hear from students. So maybe what we can do is bring in a current student. So do you want to introduce our next guest?
Absolutely, yeah. I'd like to introduce Sarah. Sarah, if you're able to come on and join us.
Hi. Can you see
Hi,
me?
Sarah.
Yeah. Hello.
Yep.
So I'm Sarah. I'm in my third year of social work, and I registered with the PMC my first year at Carleton, and it was pretty simple. I just got the documentation from the PMC, and I just got my healthcare provider to fill it out. It was pretty simple. I just sent it back in, and then my coordinator had sent me an email, kind of just asking about what accommodations I would need.
Sarah, did you meet with your coordinator in your initial year as well to kind of talk about what services or accommodations you might need?
Yeah, so that process was kind of just like a simple conversation, kind of seeing like where my needs were and kind of what would benefit me as a student. It was pretty good, and then she also had referred me to a learning strategist, and I meet with her about once a month now. It was once a week before, and she really helped me with my note taking and with my time management, and also with the other accommodations. It kind of just really helped me understand online learning as well. I was when I got into school, it was like amidst the pandemic, so I was kind of just like jumping in to cold water, but it wasn't that bad. They supported me the whole way through, and yeah.
Awesome. And are you taking classes like on campus this term?
Right now, I only have one in-person class, and I do have accommodations for that. And also, teachers are um, very like nice about accommodations, and they ensure that you always get the proper accommodations for what your coordinator has set out for you.
Awesome. And you said that originally when you registered with us, you had documentation completed by your healthcare provider. Was that the documentation that you found on our website?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. And what kinds of accommodations do you find most helpful for you?
I think the one that's the most helpful is the note taking. I tend to overthink my notes, and my learning strategist has helped me a lot with that. But at the same time, it's really helpful to see that students are being very helpful to PMC students as well, getting notes for us. And it's just, it helps me a lot with studying and such.
Awesome. And with accommodations, do you set them up one time, or do you have to request them every term?
So for the accommodation process, you have to talk to your coordinator at first, but then afterwards, every semester, you just go on Carleton Central and request the accommodations through the PMC portal.
Very cool. Okay, and is that process pretty simple?
Yes, you can go on the portal and you can choose what classes you want accommodations for. You can do one class or all classes, and you could also request more accommodations if you feel that you need more, but it's very, very simple.
Very cool. Okay. And so what is the most important advice that you think you'd like to pass on to a new student, do you think?
I think the most important advice that I can give is that everyone goes through university through their own pace, and it doesn't really matter if it's linear, and it doesn't matter if it's the same track as everyone else. I think it's all about the experience. And so yeah, never be discouraged if you're not going with the flow of everyone else and going with what everyone else is doing.
That's such an important message. I know I have a lot of conversations with students around reduced course load. So is that kind of what you're hinting at there sometimes, is it's okay to take a step back and take it at your own pace?
Yeah, exactly. And not really worrying about if you have to drop a class, it's going to make or break your university experience, because it's really not.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that information with us. Stanley, I'll hand it back over to you.
Yeah, and I want to echo that, Sarah. Thank you for sharing and for giving that kind of student experience because, like I know for myself, it's been a few years since I was a student, so it's always nice when you get a chance to hear what students are experiencing, particularly when they're utilizing different services. Amanda, I'm going to bring you back on screen because I want to ask you a couple of questions. You talked a bit about when students register with the center. Can you maybe kind of go into more details about the registration process? So how does a student register with the Paul Menton Center? Is there a specific time of year when they should do that? And is it as simple as, I have an IP, here it is, now I'm registered, or is there more to it?
Great question. So as soon as you accept your acceptance to Carleton and you've got a student number, you can register with us. And we definitely recommend contacting us as soon as possible, preferably in the summer, whenever you have your acceptance. That way we can help you throughout the summer and getting things set up. So by the time your term starts in the fall, all you have to do is meet with us once more to kind of go through each of your outlines to determine what accommodations you need for each of your courses, as Sarah mentioned. And all you need to do in order to register with us is if you want to visit our website, which is carleton.ca/PMC, we have our contact information there. So you can request an in-person, online, or phone appointment with us by either emailing our center or calling us and requesting an intake. Once you call and make your appointment, we will provide you with next steps for registration. So whatever documentation you have, that would be an excellent thing for you to bring with you. If you don't have any documentation, then we can also refer you back to our website because we have documentation forms on our website, as Sarah was alluding to when she was talking as well, that you can ask your doctor to fill out or psychologist, whoever you have that is familiar with the diagnosis can fill out that documentation, and then you bring that to your intake. That's how easy it is.
Cool.
Yep.
Now, one of the things that I know has been mentioned a few times throughout various events that we've had a chance to attend together is FITA. Can you talk a bit about what From Intention to Action is, and how can students kind of utilize it to help with their studies?
Sure. Fit Action is one of our, partner programs through the library. And they were initially developed to support students that did not have a disability diagnosis, but were recognizing that they needed more intensive support. So it's traditionally for anybody who does not have a diagnosis, but would benefit from some meeting with someone on a weekly basis. And if you needed to access that service, them to set up your intake with that service, and then they would arrange how often you would.
Amanda, I don't know if are you still with us? I think you're on mute, or we're losing your sound here. The joys of the virtual space. Okay, so I guess I'll kind of.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there you go. You're back. Back.
Sorry about that.
No.
What was the last thing you heard, Stanley?
Yeah, so you're just kind of wrapping up like how that students use Fit Action to kind of tap into those resources. So you were kind of at the end of that conversation.
Yeah. So again, if you needed to, you could always connect with Fit Action through their website as well to set up your intake appointment with them, and they will discuss kind of what your programming will look like through that service.
Okay, awesome. Now, the other question I wanted to ask you about was, students always have one eye towards the career prize and thinking about employment. And there's a really cool thing called the Act to Employ. So can you talk a bit more about what that is and how that can be used to, again, kind of project what their future careers could look like?
Act to Employ is near and dear to my heart, as I was one of the staff that led in developing that program a few years ago, and now it's housed in Career Services. So Act to Employ is a supported employment service that's offered through Career Services specifically for students with disabilities. and they provide employment opportunities for students on campus and can also help with employment transition support in community employment opportunities as well. So again, that's open to any student with a disability at Carleton, and you can register with Act to Employ and meet with Jenna, who is the student advisor through that program. And she will walk you through, you know, what the process will look like from, let's say, creating your resume and getting prepared for interviews, all the way through to once you get into a job, what that transition support looks like. And they support both you and the employer on, you know, if you needed accommodations in the workplace, because some of us do need that. So it's a great transitional support program. They also do support students with disabilities who have co-op placements as well. So that is something else to keep in mind if you're planning on doing co-op at Carleton as well.
Okay. Now, for students who are planning on living on campus, if there are any kind of residence accommodations that are needed or requested, do they request it through the Paul Menton Center, or is there another kind of outlet that they should be looking at?
So if you do require accommodations for residents, then you would want to connect with the residence accommodations advisor. Her name is Karen Harabosh. So that is associated outside our office as well, but through another student service, through resident services. And you're welcome to meet with Karen if you, let's say, for example, you have any disability related needs related to like dining services, or you have a service animal, or you need an alone room, those kinds of things. You can talk to Karen if it's related to the nature of a disability.
Okay. And the last thing is really, do you have any kind of words of advice or wisdom for our students? For students who are going to be using the Paul Menton Center, or for students who may not be using the Paul Menton Center, just for students in general, what's your advice as an honored member of the Carleton community?
I think the biggest thing is that really trying to use all of the services that are available. I know it can be really intimidating to figure out where to get started. I know at PMC, we always say start with your PMC coordinator, and we'll help connect you to some of those services on campus, because again, there's just so much. But I find that the students that really have a challenging time are the ones who try to do it alone. And Carleton has, again, so many great resources for students. The student community itself is really, really awesome. So as Stanley mentioned, get started with fall orientation. We also have a PMC orientation that we offer for students. We have our previous one recorded on our website, and we'll always be doing one before each fall term begins. So make sure to check out those orientation resources so that you can get an idea of, where do I want to get started? And if you don't know where, come to us, and we're really here to support you in trying to get connected to those resources.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Amanda. And then again, thank you, Sarah, as well for sharing so much valuable insight. And thank you all for attending tonight's Live at 5. A quick reminder to continue to challenge yourself. And that challenge begins at 360.carleton.ca. Go onto that website if you haven't done so already. Create your account and really start to dig deep into our Carleton community, our support services, residents, scholarships, so on. Also get yourself a view book. Our view book looks great, by the way. Beautiful edition, and really great for you to have that copy, that physical copy, so you can learn a bit more about the admission process, applications, and so on. So please go on to 360.carleton.ca to learn more about your Carleton experience. And continue to track us online. Admissions.carleton.ca is our website. Our PMC website is carleton.ca/PMC. We have an Instagram account, a Twitter account, and brand new, we're on TikTok at Carleton_future for our social media accounts. Definitely give us a follow. I can tell you from watching the behind the scenes of our TikTok account, it is going to be a legendary account. So please make sure you give it a follow and continue to have conversations with us throughout the next few months. We are definitely here to help. So thanks once again for tuning in. My name is Stanley, and we hope to see you at Carleton in the fall. Take care, y'all.